Hundreds of thousands of military veterans live in Minnesota. Many of them have jobs, but some need help. As Rusty Ray reports, one Plymouth veteran made it his mission to help more companies hire and meet the needs of those who fought for our country.
Sometimes they'll get a coin from there.
Jeremy Wolfsteller met President George W. Bush twice.
Every single president will have their official coin made like this, and they're given to people who, have made sacrifices, basically.
He doesn't remember the first time. He was in a coma. A bullet in his second tour of duty in Iraq went into his right hip and lodged in his left shoulder. The Osseo grad eventually returned home with a Purple Heart and a new career.
A lot of veterans aren't critically injured, but they have severe injuries, mental and physical. And sometimes it's hard to get them into the system of care.
Through nearly a decade and a half with the American Legion working in tandem with the VA, Wolfsteller helped connect other veterans with the care they need.
It's weird to say it, but fortunately I was traumatically injured because the system of care is a lot easier when you've been hurt like I have.
Very impressive.
That's how he met Vietnam veteran Peter Bartling, who tried everything he could to get a COVID vaccine and kept striking out.
The Veterans Program is for people that need that help medically, academically, housing-wise, or whatever. But you never know when you're going to need the help.
Yes.
Wolfsteller helped him get what he needed.
I said, if you can help others like you helped me, you're going to be successful.
And that's about the time Wolfsteller left the Legion and, with Bartling's help, started SAVE, Saluting America's Veterans Enterprise. The goal is to help companies better meet the needs of veterans after they're hired.
We believe by doing that for the companies is that it's going to help them recruiting veterans, help them retain veterans, and be more attractive as a business to serve veterans as clients as well.
I think all veterans that are in good physical, mental, and emotional condition want to give back, and this is a way I can do it.
Fewer battles for veterans right where they are.
It's great for the community, it's great for the companies, the employers, it's obviously great for the veterans.
That's Rusty Ray reporting. We'll have a link to the SAVE organization on our website, ccxmedia.org. Some Brooklyn Center City Council members are raising concerns about a proposed budget that offers funding for more firefighters, but not for new police positions. Brooklyn Center City staff are asking for a nearly $2 million property tax levy increase this year. If the council approves the budget, the fire department will get 2 new full-time positions. Currently, the department operates on a paid-on-call model. It's planning to gradually switch to a 24-hour duty crew in the coming years. The council was open to bringing in more firefighters, but questioned why the budget did not have funding for more police officers. Currently, the department has filled 40 of its 49 police positions.
We need to find a way to fund these positions reasonably over time, and we owe that to the new person coming on board too, so they're not inheriting a deficit from day one.
The city's current police chief is retiring at the end of January. The council expects to continue budget discussions, and it plans to vote on the final budget in December. If there was a story in Robbinsdale, chances are Raleigh Haywood knew about it. Community members are remembering Haywood, the city's longtime volunteer historian. I spoke to residents to capture the legacy he left behind.
One of the things Raleigh did was assemble a lot of our historic photographs into a notebook.
A city's history.
Well, that's a photograph, isn't it, Pete?
Is more than a photo in a frame.
He had a lot of good stories to tell.
History is made up of stories.
This is a photo of Raleigh with his Jaguar.
And people.
Raleigh liked to say that the town had more characters per square block than any other city he'd ever been in, and he considered himself one of them.
Raleigh Haywood lived a life in pursuit of those characters.
Whenever there was somebody or a name in Robbinsdale history, Raleigh usually had a story that went along with it.
Born and raised in town, he graduated from high school in 1949.
Raleigh learned to fly at the Robbinsdale airport, and most people didn't even know there was an airport in Robbinsdale.
He served in Korea, then raised 3 kids with his wife, Juanita.
When you came through the door, Raleigh was probably sitting here and he had 15, 20 stories that he liked to tell over and over again. We all got to know him pretty well. You know, he related those stories like he was there, which I always thought was interesting.
His stories built up the Robbinsdale Historical Society and its community.
We also miss his memory because when we needed to know something from the past, often Raleigh knew the answer.
Everything in here he pretty much touched and knew what it was and where it was and how it was important.
President Peter Ritchie got to know Raleigh over the years.
He was our curator and our curmudgeon.
And Raleigh died at age 92 in August. Yet, at the Historical Society,
I might describe Raleigh as a jolly fellow.
his piece of living history lives on.
He liked the fact that we were goofy and had a whole bunch of characters, so whether it was Captain Billy, with his smutty magazines riling everybody up, or our pro wrestlers and their general attitude. He liked to think of Robbinsdale as a city of characters.
The community honored Haywood's memory this past week at Wicked Wort Brewing in Robbinsdale, one of his favorite spots in town. It won't be long before fall colors start to pop across Minnesota, and experts say that while the drought-like conditions aren't ideal, the leaves should be just fine.
If we just stay in this pattern of warm days and cool nights, the colors are going to pop. So we're going to get color, regardless of the drought.
Yet, beautiful fall colors aren't necessarily a sign of a healthy tree. Plymouth City Forester Paul Buck says the drought has taken its toll on a lot of trees around the metro, and the lack of moisture makes them more susceptible to diseases, as well as attacks from insects. His advice is to water your tree with a garden hose for an hour or so. Homeowners should do that periodically until all of the leaves fall.
Some of your neighbors might kind of think you're a little crazy, but you look at what it would be if you lost that tree. It's worth the couple pennies to add some extra water.
Buck says fall colors should reach their peak in the metro by the end of the month and go through mid-October.